The out of commerce are protected by copyright, and if we want to use the newspapers that are published in the early 20th century and under the current legislative, we need to contact every author or the ones that hold their copyright and ask them, please, can we publish the newspapers from 1911.
I know there is the Orphan Works Directive, but it's rather difficult to do that.
Y nosotros en el museo llevamos a cabo un pequeño proyecto sobre obras huérfanas, siendo acorde y fieles a la legislación, a ver si se podía realmente conseguir declarar alguna obra huérfana. El resultado fue que esas 300 obras implicaban la gestión de más de 700 titulares de derechos de autor.
Wir in Deutschland haben natürlich das Problem, dass wir selbst bei der Regelung, ich nenne sie immer die 4 Haupturheberregelung, trifft bei uns nicht zu. Bei uns ist jeder und jede mit einem kreativen Input, also Kameramann, Kamerafrau, Cutter, Cutterin, Setdesignerin. Auch das muss recherchiert werden. Auch da müssen die die Sterbedaten recherchiert werden. Und das macht das halt einfach viel zu aufwendig.
There are so many works that are in some kind of limbo in this copyright framework.
How many of these works are really worth having this kind of fight around it, and that we have to invest that much money?
The out-of-commerce articles are very important.
Definitely the out-of-commerce works provisions.
The reason is that we have been digitizing newspapers, journals and books for long, and our wish is to be able to make more copyrighted material available online, provided of course that it is out of commerce.
Estos artículos son fundamentales porque introducen un nuevo concepto que implica un cambio muy importante y que nos va a dar la oportunidad de dar solución a lo que se ha venido a llamar el agujero negro del siglo XX, que no es otra cosa que la inaccesibilidad a la creación de ese siglo que todavía no era digital.
Also ich denke, dass für den Bereich Filmerbe vor allem die Regelung zu den vergriffenen Werken interessant sein könnte. Das kommt ein bisschen darauf an, wie sie jetzt in deutsches Recht umgesetzt wird. Wir gehen davon aus, dass die Filmarchive von einer gesetzlichen Ausnahmeregelung profitieren werden, weil es keine repräsentative Verwertungsgesellschaft gibt. Zumindest nicht für die Rechte, die sozusagen für die Werke der Filmarchive gültig werden.
Text and data mining exception helps our researchers to do more in content mining. There's a lot of information out there throughout the world and a lot of information coming out every year, and it grows exponentially. And if we don't have the means to do content mining, and if we don't have too many obstacles to do that automatically, this content mining, then it will help our researchers a lot.
So for our institution, I think the most important provision is Article 14, that whenever a copyright of a work of art expires, a reproduction should not be protected by another right. Sometimes you get the impression that Article 14 is like the abolition of copyright, but it's totally not. It's more like a reinforcement of the public domain.
Well, apart from the out-of-commerce articles, we also have high expectations for the TDM exceptions, and that is because in the recent past, several researchers have already contacted us for data sets that they would wish to mine.
The most used are collections from in our library are newspapers, and researchers often ask to consult the newspapers.
Nosotros tenemos en el museo una colección bastante digna de manifiestos surrealistas, que son estupendos y fantásticos porque tenían un punto de locura muy divertido, pero esos manifiestos eran digamos, declaraciones para comunicarse con la sociedad, es decir, que tenían una vocación pública.
Maybe for language research, you want to research how sounds differ throughout videos throughout the years, but you have first to be able to collect that data. And that's where text and data mining comes in, together with the right to digitize all kinds of heritage material.
Also wir haben zum Beispiel von den Landesbildstellen, das sind die Einrichtungen, die Schulen und Universitäten mit Filmen versorgen, haben wir die analogen Filme. Das sind große Sammlungen und ich kann mir vorstellen, dass die kulturhistorisch sehr interessant sind, weil sie zum Beispiel Lehrfilme zeigen über Berufe oder Gewerke, die es so nicht mehr gibt.
El proyecto como de la biblioteca digital, ¿no? Sería un proyecto que podría crecer enormemente y verdaderamente utilizando el potencial de las nuevas tecnologías.
The National University Library and the Croatian Library Association are raising awareness of the cultural heritage institutions about the upcoming changes in copyright.
I give this information to the universities. A colleague of mine informs the heritage institutions. Another colleague informs the public libraries. Do they really know what the changes will be and how it affects them? I think there we still have some communications to do.
Well, copyright is of course the specialist field, but we try to raise awareness on the DSM directive in our national working group on copyright. And in this group, several representatives of libraries, museums and archives share their knowledge and experience and practices concerning copyright.
The National University Library organizes courses and workshops and webinars related to copyright in libraries, and some of them are organized in cooperation with the Croatian State Intellectual Property Office.
We are now working in a subgroup of our copyright working group on a copyright decision model that will also hopefully benefit smaller cultural heritage institutions where they have no legal expertise yet.
It is so important to be aware of the transposition of the directive in other EU countries, because we are learning from different kinds of approaches and the problems or solutions that the other countries have.
Also wir helfen uns sozusagen auch auf europäischer Ebene, wenn es darum geht, eine Stellungnahme vorzubereiten. Wir fragen schon die Kolleginnen, wie macht ihr das? Wo seht ihr die Probleme? Was müsste verbessert werden?
We have, of course, associations. So if I look at the positive initiatives, it's actually how these different sectors come together and interact.
A really positive initiative in Sweden was the fact that the National Archives stated that they no longer apply copyright on reproductions of works of art that have entered the public domain, and this is something that we just followed. And I really hope that it will fuel the discussion for those institutions who are thinking about opening their collections, but for one or other reason see too many risks in it. And again, it's really nice to see that this way of reasoning has made its way into a European directive.
Yes, I have participated in DSM discussions in my country. I'm involved in SAS, which is a partnership for copyright and society, a collaboration of several mainly Flemish, but Belgian organizations in the domain of culture, heritage, education and science. So we have been invited as experts in the Council for Intellectual Property when the DSM discussions were going on.
Ja, der Deutsche Kinematikverbund hat eine gemeinsame Stellungnahme geschrieben. Ich habe das koordiniert und wir haben zu einigen Artikeln der DSM-Richtlinie diese Stellungnahme verfasst. Nicht zu allen, aber unter anderem zu den vergriffenen Werken.
The Croatian Library Community, led by the National University Library and Croatian Library Association, actively participated in the discussions, and the community representative was a member of the working group that prepared the draft of the new copyright law.
Here in the Netherlands, libraries, museums and archives, they have joined forces for this. And together we have spoken with the Dutch ministry responsible for the implementation of the DSM directive several times about our wishes. And we have also jointly submitted comments in an online consultation.
There should be the direct dialogue among all stakeholders.
There's not enough interaction with the user, so we think that this could improve a bit.
Esperamos que en algún momento todos estos contactos y este trabajo dé su fruto y que realmente podamos intervenir un poco y aportar nuestra visión en esa transposición con el único fin de evitar que se convierta como la legislación anterior en una legislación que bloquea más que ayuda, ¿no?
Well, I wish that cooperation with right holders will be intensified in making more and more of their out-of-commerce works available online so that everyone can enjoy their works again.
Pues mis deseos que se concrete la transposición de una manera correcta en colaboración con todos, que realmente se cambie esa disposición un poco enemistosa entre las entidades de gestión, el Ministerio de Cultura, las instituciones culturales y todos colaboremos para el bien común.
Ich glaube, das, was sich alle wünschen, eine Harmonisierung des Urheberrechts in Europa, das ist, glaube ich, der Wunsch von allen Beteiligten, die ich auch immer in so Diskussionen treffe. Das ist einfach noch viel zu zersplittert.
One of the wishes that I have is to have a simpler copyright framework that will not stand in the way of the public interest and at the same time protect the rights of authors who wish to harvest the economic values of from their works.
One wish that is clearly connected to Article 14 is that I hope that national legislation and also cultural heritage institutions will embrace this quite clear statement for more openness that Article 14 actually provides. I would love the cultural sector to realize that copyright actually is a field that permeates all our activities and it shouldn't be left to some few specialists in the organization, but it should really be something that all our staff members have a knowledge around so that we can make more informed and better decisions.
The provision to enhance open access to research outcomes, for example, and the digitized heritage, that would be great for research. There are already quite some things we can do through the exceptions, but there's still a lot of material out there that cannot be accessed.
Also wenn ich noch einen Wunsch hätte, dann ist es, dass diese ganzen Regelungen, sei es verwaiste Werke, sei es vergriffene Werke, bitte nicht nur immer auf die Online-Verwertung schauen sollen. Das macht kein Filmarchiv. Also wenn wir uns so engagieren, um Rechte zu klären, und dann dürfen wir aber den Film nicht im Kino zeigen und wir dürfen keine DVD produzieren und wir dürfen, das ist sinnlos. Also dann macht es oft einfach keinen Sinn. Wir digitalisieren in hoher Qualität, wenn wir digitalisieren. In 4K. Für die Online-Nutzung wird das runtergerechnet, aber das ist aufwendig, das ist teuer. Warum sollte das nicht im Kino laufen? Wir haben ein nicht kommerzielles Kino für die Auswertung in unserem im Deutschen Filminstitut, oder auch für Ausschnitte für unsere Ausstellung im Filmmuseum. Das verstehen viele Kolleginnen und Kollegen nicht.
One of the other wishes that I have would be, a shorter term of protection, copyright protection, which would definitely lead to a richer public domain and would liberate works, many of which are more than 100 years old, and it would make them accessible to online audiences, stimulating research and creativity.